Could you make me a sandwich?
What?
What?
Huh? Go ahead.
Good?
Yeah, we're good.
Hey, does it work? Is anybody there?
Well, welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
Hello,
What?
internet.
Huh?
They'll get here.
Oh man, I didn't bring my reading glasses. Also, I can't read.
No.
Oh, well.
You're in good company.
I think you're blessed.
Too blessed to be stressed.
Oh, come on.
Too early. Bring the sober guy, they said.
No good. What's going on, everybody? Is there anybody there? I can't see the... There's three people. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Jimmy Ray? Jimmy Ray Hawkins.
Says,
Jimmy.
yeah, it's working.
Yeah.
Gold top.
Yeah.
Anthony Best is already...
Anthony Best is
Feeling
here.
a
Mark
type of
London is
way.
here. What's going on, everybody? So it's...
Mark London, hell yeah.
It's quite a bit different from our regular gear and beer. We've got Sean and Travis are back from the States. They just really, really wanted to experience Canadian winter.
Yeah.
And they kind of missed it in December. It was way too nice.
I sure did.
And our good friend Joey decided to come hang out. So we were shooting the shit about the fact that you were going to shred for us tonight. Yes. Right? And yeah.
I will shred at a quarter speed. So just speed it up and it's awesome.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
It's actually really
Because
hard
that's
to
what
do.
you specialize in, right? Is like
Slow, sad music.
slow sad music, not speed metal. Blast
Well, yeah,
beats.
but just slowly.
Just slowly and with more singing.
And with more singing, yeah.
Yeah.
And less double kicks. I think, do we still do this? Double kicking?
I don't know. I don't listen to metal.
Only barefoot, I think.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
barefoot.
Just barefooting.
Just barefooted. Yeah.
Just when you're playing congas at drum jams at folk festivals, right?
I've never been to one of these things.
Of course not.
No.
I made the mistake of asking Derek about the Winnipeg Folk Festival. He
No,
said
no.
something about... Never mind. I won't even repeat what he said.
No.
He's never even been. What would you know?
It's true. I wouldn't know.
You guys should play something really cool and soulful.
Yeah.
Metally. Not
5, 6, 7,
And,
8.
That's ridiculous.
When the lights.
Exactly. I was just like, man, I think I just started like,
I was. It took
Journey
all
in
my
the wrong key.
self-restraint to not start singing that song.
yeah, that's what I realized I was doing. I was like, geez, this is
Lights
lights.
by Journey. When the lights.
I don't know that one.
Shut up.
What?
Come on.
All I know by Journey is
Seriously, you don't know that song? Are you messing with
look at me.
I don't know.
Why would I know that?
I don't know. I can't figure out what's happening with you right now.
I honestly don't know that song. I did not grow
my
up on
God.
popular music.
All right.
What did you grow up on?
It's a great segue into
Yeah.
early childhood memories.
What did I grow up on? Is that a serious question?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was racking my brain of all the stupid things I could say instead of the real thing. But I grew up listening to a lot of roots Americana music, a lot of Steely Dan.
Okay.
My dad really loves Steely Dan, so we listened to so much Steely Dan. The records that come to mind, like growing up, are Bonnie Raitt, Nick of Time. I think The Nightfly, which is actually a Donald Fagen record, not Steely Dan, but and A Go-Go, John Scofield, the record he made with Medeski, Martin, and Wood.
Yeah.
Those are like the standout albums, and none of them have anything to do with each other, but that's just a lot of what I grew up listening to.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's-
And then I found Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then I listened to him exclusively for like 4 years. But
What age was that?
30 to 34. No. I think probably 12 to 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't sound like anything like him. Shame. I wish I did.
Yeah.
Can you sound like him? Like I know lots of players that like they have their own distinct sound. Like you have a distinct sound. Sean has a very distinct sound. I do not.
Yeah, you do.
but-
there's the thing.
yeah,
you
oh
do.
yeah.
There's a bend you do. That's
exactly.
signature.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I saw
Yeah,
some folks.
Yeah, commenting about
Yeah.
boy bands. Yeah, like I see lots of guys that have very distinct sounds, but if they want to, they can channel that Stevie sound like almost in an instant, and it's always one of the most impressive things I ever see.
Right. I mean, to me, the like so much of Stevie's sound is really like. I mean, I think everybody probably has a different opinion about this, but his tone and the way that he played was a big thing. But to me, when I hear him play, I hear a mixture of like Albert King and B.B. King, Freddie King, and I'm sure there's a long list of other guitar players that he idolized. But like the thing to me that's like, for me, quintessential Stevie Ray is like
Yeah.
those kind of bluesy bands, and that's Albert King.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but that's about as much like all the fiery stuff I cannot. I used to think I could play it, and then I grew up and was like, oh no, I cannot play this. There's
Yeah, that's what it was for me too. Is I thought I was pretty good at it until I got around guys that were good at it, and then I realized I am not good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You go see Philip Sace once. And you're
yeah. It's like, oh yeah.
There's levels
okay,
to
well
this.
then,
and
yeah, it's probably not my
man,
jam.
Jesse Davey.
I don't know that.
Jesse Davey, he's the guy who makes Kingtone pedals.
Oh, yeah.
that's-
That
He
guy's a
is
monster player.
insanely
British
good.
guy, right?
British guy,
Yeah,
yeah.
he can
amazing.
flat play. Yeah.
Oh
I've
man,
heard him.
and he's just like he's the kindest soul and such a brilliant pedal builder because I think he's just a killer guitar player, and so he makes pedals. I think I'm assuming that he started making pedals for himself,
Yeah.
and then was like, "Shit, these are pretty good. I
Yeah.
should sell this to people."
That's
Yeah.
You know who else does a really good Stevie thing and just a great guitar player in general is John Priest, the guy that owns Peach Guitars.
Oh yeah,
He does a great Texas blues thing.
Yeah.
He's a great player.
he really is. Yeah.
I remember thinking that I'd heard guys around here that could do it well. Just when I was probably like around like 18 or 19, as soon as I could start going to bars, I'd see guys that would go to like Barry Player's jam night that he used to do, and every now and then
Right.
you'd hear somebody get up that you're like, oh, that sounds deathly close to Stevie. And then the first time I went to the Dallas guitar show. Literally, like, every kid that you walked by a booth with any Fender style amp, and I'm like, oh no, that's the actual Stevie.
It's like
thing.
every
well,
time you walk by a booth, it's just. It's like everything just
yeah.
kind of Doppler effects down and then back up.
Yeah, just slowly disappearing into the But there's also a massive thing about the way that he played, and I mean, again, I could be talking out of my ass. This is just sort of my own experience with loving the music that comes out of Austin, Texas. Is there's a lot of guitar players that just kind of have this thing that's very unique to Austin, and you hear it in Stevie's playing, and then you hear it in other people's playing. You know, like if you hear, David Grissom play, who's nothing like Stevie, but there's still like this little element of the DNA that's there, which I think is really
Gary
cool.
Clark Jr.
Yeah.
He's
Totally.
got a thing.
I mean, Jimmy
Yeah.
Vaughan, who
Jimmy.
they couldn't
He's the archetype.
really sound any more different, Jimmy and Stevie. But there is also this like really, really, it's very organic. I think it's just, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's like a very authentic, kind of honest type of playing.
Yeah. Man, and there is a killing blues scene in Winnipeg. There are some like people like Jay Nowicki, Chris Carmichael, who are all guys who grew up idolizing like legit old blues record collections. Who, like, when I hear them play, I think, man, if you guys were just born on the other side of the border, you'd be
Right.
famous.
Yeah.
You know, but
That's a lot of players from here, though. I mean, I'm always blown away by the number of phenomenal guitar players in our city, especially considering the size of our city. And, I mean, I grew up in a small town where, I mean, hockey is the only thing that is valued as far as an extracurricular, right? Like, anything else does not matter. So to have guitar players, and I didn't grow up where there were really phenomenal guitar players because I was about an hour away from the city. So until I was 18 and in the city and could go to bars and, start really going to, just any shows, period, here, you really didn't see the level of talent. I remember the first time that I saw you play, and the first time I saw Murray play,
Right.
that I was like, holy crap, like, these guys are from here.
right.
Because you just, growing up, you just did not see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what's interesting about here is that because you don't get, outside of like the arena acts, you don't get small club shows. Like when I lived in Toronto, it blew my mind, like the people that came through town. It was just like so many of my favorite songwriters, so many of my favorite guitar players, instrumentalist bands, whatever. It's like there was a killer show every night of the week in Toronto.
Right.
It was like, this does not happen in Winnipeg because nobody's like, oh man, after Minneapolis, let's drive 7 hours and go play Winnipeg. Like that doesn't happen.
And
so the music scene has to make itself.
And because guys like me want to go hear Guns N' Roses every night. Just so that you can hate me.
Hey, Guns N' Roses has their place.
Yeah. Like, it's not in Winnipeg bars.
In the garages of uncles everywhere.
I'll be there.
Oh,
In the stereos of their Trans Am.
Hey, yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
What's going on in the comment section here?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of our friends are here. Paul Yee was here.
Oh, nice. Paul and Jen said they might
Poo Ninja.
pop in. So there he is. Mr. Yee.
Hey, Revers, nice to see Joey. You met you briefly at the Cosmo Music Festival with Andy Wood.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I would have been there.
You would have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me and Andy Wood and Tosin Abasi played.
Right.
And
What
I
a
was just
weird
like,
mix of,
I was like,
say, those are all.
what is going on here? And both Tosin and Andy were like, nice playing, man. I was like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to lie.
Did he show you how to do the thump thing? That
No, he knew that there was no point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I play, Mark London's here. He's the guy who actually coined this, but I play with what were called flappy hands.
Yeah.
And I've always played with flappy hands.
Really?
Yeah. Just one mono finger, like a penguin's fin. In both hands.
Are
you
you
gonna
think
get,
of the
like-
penguin from the Batman movie?
Yeah.
Are you
Ever
gonna
bitten
get like a
someone's
slide
nose
that
off?
covers them all? Then is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm working on a deal. Yeah.
Exactly.
A mono slide. Just for all 4 fingers so that I can go back to sleep.
I'm stupid. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It was good. We were just riffing there, but
I know.
Somebody was asking about a dude from. Can you go up a little bit? Wait.
Yes, we were talking
Jane
about
Nowicki,
Stevie.
yeah.
Charles, if you
Stevie T.
Sorry, I
Stevie
just-
T. No.
no.
Sorry. Nope. I missed it. I blew it.
Riveting.
Somebody from Vancouver. It was Jesse
yeah.
Roper. Do you guys know who Jesse Roper is? Vancouver Island can do and mean SRV.
I
Oh,
haven't-
He's Canadian. You guys probably know him, right?
oh yeah, I know everybody in this country.
Exactly.
All 30 million of them. Makes
Well,
perfect
it's so
sense.
condensed. You
Yeah.
guys probably right.
We all live
right next
very
door.
close together.
Yeah.
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 Jane Nowicki for the win.
Jay Nowicki, man, I love Jay's guitar playing. I always have. Another great Winnipeg guitar player, Damon Mitchell. I mean, I'm obviously Murray Pulver too.
Yeah.
I love Ariel Posen.
Did gold top Les Paul's gent. Probably not this one.
Definitely not this
Yeah,
one.
I'm just gonna go out on a.
That my action is about 37 inches.
Okay, here's a great one for you, Joey. Anthony is one of our good friends. He wants to know, what is the best tip for someone who wants to get into slide? Do you pick one tuning, or what do you practice?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it really depends on what you're into. Like I'm not much of a purist in the sense that I didn't really start with Elmore James or people like that. But I gravitated towards open tuning because there were a couple of really kind of quintessential slide licks that I was missing because I started playing slide in standard tuning. It was just like I was a sideman and getting gigs where I had to play slide and started to fall in love with it. And so, I mean, I like open E bass tunings, which is 1-5-1-3-5-1, as opposed to open G, which is 5-1-5-1-3-5, I think, if I counted that out right. But it's basically the same tuning but shifted up a fourth. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really just depends on what you're after. So if you're after stuff like then probably an open E kind of thing would be useful. I think Bonnie plays in open G, I'm pretty sure. Lowell George, who's another one of my favorite slide players, plays in open A. And lots of great slide players playing standard tuning. It does depend on what you're after. And so I mean I like open tunings because you get all of these kind of rich overtones. Playing in major keys. But it also works if you're playing in a minor key, like if you're doing. But I don't know. I mean, for me, the thing that I like about slide playing is just being able to get that extra little that happens in between the notes. So I like to explore messing with the intonation of things. That's to me where a lot of the value comes in. So that's kind of what I kind of work on the most. And I don't know. That's probably not very fun advice. But just lift licks from your favorite slide players and start with something simple. I do recommend to a lot of people droning the low E string and messing around on the high E string, so you have a good pitch reference for your intonation. Pick something that is like really familiar. Just mess around and have fun. And but the other thing about slide is that when you first get started, it sounds horrible. So picking something simple to chew on so that it'll keep you actually wanting to practice and not throw it out the window.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
threw it out the window.
so
You threw your slide out
me
the
and,
window?
Me and slides don't get along at all.
No?
No, they're not my friend. I tried. did.
I mean, mine either. It's like I've been doing this for probably 10 years, and it's still hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say I tried for probably 2 weeks when I was 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Messing around with slide, and so one of the questions I would have for you then too is is yours brass?
Brass, yeah.
So what's the difference? I started with, I don't know if it was nickel or what it was silver, right?
Yep.
And then somebody was like, no, you need to get a glass slide. Someone got a glass slide, and I was like, none of these things are good. It's like, none of
It all
this works.
sounds different versions of the same pad.
Yeah, exactly. It all sounds like I can't do this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So why brass?
You know what? I just like the way it sounds. I like the way it sounds. I like the way that these ones feel. This is a company from Washington State called the Rock Slide. And I stumbled on them by accident one day and started using them and really, really loved them. And I wound up starting a relationship with that company and have had a relationship with them for 15 years now, probably 12. But the thing I like about these is they fit really well. And a lot of slides, just at the counter at your local music store, might not fit, or you can get one that's too big or get one that's too small. So these ones are really comfy, so I just feel like I'm more in control. But the biggest piece of playing slide to that will actually probably make a difference is wrapping your head around muting. Because if you don't, it's just a noisy mess. And especially if you like brass is really noisy. The thing that's nice about glass slides is that they're quieter.
Okay.
And the tone is different. The sustain is a little bit different because the material is different and the density is different. But so for me, a big thing with the muting is that I pretty much mute every single string that I'm not playing. So if I'm playing on the high E string, my thumb is across all 5 of the strings underneath. And if I play on the B string, then my thumb moves down, and then whatever fingers aren't doing anything reach up and grab the high E string. And it just takes a lot of messing around with, and everybody's going to do it a little bit differently, and everybody's going to find their own solution. So for me, it was just when I started playing slide, I was like, this is noisy, and it sounds awful. And so I just started messing around with different things. And there's left-hand muting that you can do too, but right-hand muting is really kind of where it's at. It's probably the hardest thing to wrap your head around, which is why I kind of say, stick to one string. Playing a major scale on one string is a really great practice. Sort of noodle around and try different intervals and different little melodic things, but giving yourself something tangible like that to kind of work through and get your hands used to doing this dumb thing. There you go.
There you go.
So
and
why
now
am I
you
doing
all
this?
know
Why
how
am
to
I
play
doing
slide
this?
like Joey Landry.
Yeah,
That's
you
right.
have everything you need to know.
Exactly.
I was
Just
at a
flappy hands, the flappiest hands.
just those penguin
just tape them
fins,
together.
flippers.
See if it works.
Does anybody know any of Danny DeVito's famous lines from that movie?
I have a feeling that you're about to drop someone.
No, I don't know any. I just was like, this would be a great
Drop them
moment.
in the comments.
Are there any?
Well, that's the thing is I don't know.
Probably. He had a monocle, right?
He did. Michael Keaton, my favorite Batman.
He is the only Batman.
He tries to tell Selena Kyle,
I heard the new Batman is actually really good, though.
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
I don't
Somebody
know
went
if
and
I don't
saw
know
it.
if I could ever believe him. It was
I
like
thought
George
that
Clooney
about-
was the same way. It's like man, my mom thought you were hot on ER. Like, you can't be Batman. I've seen you in Scrubs.
Somebody was telling me, I was at a music store the other day in Nashville, where I'm from, and they were talking about, somebody was asking about slide, and there was a dude in there who was a pretty, I guess, well-known slide guitar player, and he said he actually practiced along with like a sine wave. Like he wouldn't even do like the open, like he would, because he was so obsessed with playing in tune that he wanted to hear the notes up against like just a pure tone. You know?
Wild.
Yeah.
What a nerd.
Yeah, seriously.
I totally get that though, and I feel like there's so much to explore in intonation, and like when you start to go down that rabbit hole and you realize that like none of your intervals are actually in tune, and you can manipulate the way something feels by just like check this out. That's that's on the fret major third. how much sweeter that sounds. As
Just a
opposed to
touch flat.
yeah. Because the harmonic overtone series, that's actually quite a bit flat. Oh, whoops. Anyway, it's cool stuff. I haven't gotten very far into it, but there's like certain little things that are cool.
Yeah, especially in the thirds.
Yeah.
To be able to just drop the pitch just slightly, like a semi, definitely makes a big difference in how that rings and emotes. It's a completely different deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
There's
really do that with a slide.
this slide lick, which is the one that got me started in open tuning. The first time I learned like super minor pentatonic, and then I kind of realized, some people are going flat 5. But the further I got into it, and the more different slide players I would hear play that lick, I realized that like some people are actually splitting the difference between the flat 5 and the natural 5.
Yeah. That's so harmonic-y.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you could... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's so... And all it registers to me is like one is square and one is badass.
Yep.
But if you look at the badass one, it's completely out of tune.
Yeah.
Horribly out of tune.
Yeah.
Like...
Yep.
Like I would if I was transcribing that, I would transcribe that as a flat 7, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool.
It is cool.
Man, music is neat, you guys. Man, you'll never believe this, but music is neat.
So here's a Penguin quote from Stan. You gotta admit, I played this stinking city like a harp from hell.
Oh,
That's a good line.
that is a good line.
And then Kyle had one. What was the one?
I'm gonna try that at breakfast.
Oh,
It's me, I'm the penguin.
I think he made that up.
Hey, Kyle, get out of here, Kyle. Sorry, who's Kyle?
Kyle
Kyle?
works with us.
Yeah. He's our marketing guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kyle, you're doing fine.
Yeah. He's the one that told everybody that you're going to be here tonight.
He's gonna hack my social media.
Like that guy.
Yeah. And Kyle's probably going to give us crap for not telling everybody to gently caress that like button for us tonight.
My wife says, find you someone that looks at you like Travis looks at Joey. Oh, no, it was my daughter that said that.
Wow.
The shade.
Yikes.
So, Sean, you never...
Love you too, Joey.
You said you didn't really ever pick up slide or just...
No, I mean, I can do it in a very serviceable way. Like if I have to do slide on something, I'll work something up and just do it. But that's why I got into the whole, faking it.
Yeah. So you get a lot of that same kind of like flatted note thing like Joey's talking about. You do a lot of that with the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. The first thing he asked when he got here, when we gave him a guitar, he's like, do you have the bar for this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's somewhere.
Pretty much, yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
And when Sean says he does something serviceable, it means he's probably better than like 99.9% of other people at it.
Seriously. Yeah.
No, slide's really tough. And it's funny because I was like, well, this just sounds like a cat getting drugged behind a car over like speed bumps. So I thought, okay, I'll get a lap steel. I'll try that. So I did. I bought a lap steel. And I was like, well, now it just sounds like a cat being tortured minus the speed bumps.
Right.
So it's still,
Minus the speed
yeah,
bumps.
it's still a fairly arduous process for me.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's dark.
But no, it's the muting though stuff that makes me angry too, especially when I'm trying to do lap steel because you have to just catch everything and you mute back here as well as palm muting and then these two fingers have to drop and catch everything and music is hard.
Man, music is cool and music is hard.
Music is hard.
Hashtag music is cool.
Don't listen to either of these guys. Music is not hard for me. You know what?
Super easy.
No, the hard thing is figuring out how you're gonna pay your mortgage. That's the tough part.
The easy part was giving up on it and being like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make T-shirts and other things instead.
That's actually really what I do for a living. Also,
yes, you
actually
also sell T-shirts.
You make my T-shirts and then I sell them. For a profit.
That's right.
Yeah, that's how I get all the boys to my yard.
That is how music was created. There was a bunch of guys that were making T-shirts that were like, how the hell are we gonna sell these? Like, I don't know.
Play some songs and then
give this to that guy and tell him to go make noise on the corner.
That's right.
And then we'll see if we can get him to sell shirts.
The history of music in commerce.
That's
Leo
right.
Fender.
Leo Fender's like, I have an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
We could keep going on that, or
I know.
Yeah.
So Joey,
yeah,
you had some exciting news this week, didn't you?
I did have some exciting news this week.
You had one of your songs covered by one of your heroes and one of my favorite artists.
That's right. Bonnie Raitt covered one of the Brothers Landry songs. Put it on her record and released it as a first single.
Congrats.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That's
It's
amazing.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird, but man, is it ever cool! And her version is so good.
It is.
It's better than ours significantly.
Well,
I think so.
I don't know about that. It is really good, though.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I had nothing to do with it. I mean, I just wrote it, but whatever. A funny story about that writing session. That was the very first time we. Okay, two funny stories about that writing session.
I think we're going to have time for one, so go ahead and just pick the best one.
Okay, so it was the summer of 1936, and so
It was a long, hard winter.
It was 2014. My brother and I, we had released our record. We were touring around Canada, and we were like, we should go to Nashville and just see what happens. So we went to Nashville, and a couple of guys helped us get some writing sessions on the books. 2 writing sessions came back. One with a guy named Jonathan Singleton, and then the other guy, we blew off because I had stayed out all night on Broadway.
Oh no!
Got absolutely loaded, and did the thing you do when you go on Broadway for the first time. I'm now sober, so this is even worse for me. Just one of my life's greatest regrets. But the writer that we blew off was a guy named Chris Stapleton.
Oh my Joey!
We were supposed to write with him.
Oh my God!
And I was too hungover and I couldn't go, so we called in sick. No problem, guys. Maybe next time you're in town. And then that never ever happened.
And then he released Tennessee Whiskey and started playing arenas.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go all the way there.
Well, I mean, what would have happened is we would have written a song. You would have been like, "I love you guys. You should come with me."
Yes.
Didn't happen.
And then we wouldn't have all this other great music that you've written then.
Yeah.
Who cares about any of that shit?
He would have been like, Joey, you should be my lead singer.
Lead singist. Like, you know
In
what,
my
Chris?
band.
You've got great control and stuff, but you can really work on it. No. And then so then the other session was with this dude, Jonathan Singleton, and he is one of my favorite songwriters, a great songwriter, and he beat us so bad at songwriting that day. Like, we had all these ideas, and he was like, I don't know, man. I think we can find something better. And that was every line. And then now Made Up Mind exists. And Bonnie Raitt cut it.
So how was that? How was that experience for you, being from here and going into that? Because Nashville's kind of a machine that way for songwriting, right? Like, I've got friends that mainly are in pop country, but that head to Nashville all the time. And it's like, well, we've got this writing session this day.
Yeah.
We've got a session this next day. And they literally just crank out song after
Truth be
song.
told, I have not done very much of it. I think I can count on one hand how many official Nashville writes we've had. But the cool thing about writing with Jonathan was that we kind of came in not really knowing that he is a career writer and had written some really big tunes. So we were just we walked into it pretty green and treated it like any other writing session. And I think what was kind of neat was that we sat down and he went, oh, you guys don't want to write country songs. You guys are kind of doing something different. And it gave him an opportunity to kind of just sort of go somewhere else. And I think it just wound up being special. I mean, we've written a bunch of tunes with him. Two songs on our new record. Wrote the song "Gone Girl" with him off of Whiskey, my first
Yeah.
solo record, and it just became this sort of relationship that we've sort of fostered over the years and really value. He's a brilliant writer, and he's got great sort of rhythmic pacing and does stuff differently than Dave and I do as writers. So it's just it's a fun thing. But I mean, we had no idea what we were getting into. Like, we blew off Chris Stapleton, you know?
Yeah.
We were just like, oh man, I stayed out too late, right? Crushing beers with my buds.
On Broadway. of
On
all places.
friggin' Broadway, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we were a bit green, and it is now that I look back and I'm like, oh, what did we do? But it worked out, you know? It worked out fine.
When you work with, what's the, Jonathan Singleton.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that remotely?
The new tunes that we wrote, yeah, we did over Zoom, but Made Up Mind and Gone Girl were written in person when I went down there.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
The end of that question.
Cool. Yeah, it's wild. Very, very cool thing. Very, very grateful. I never ever thought any of these songs would really do anything. So I think it's cool that I get to do what I do for a living, let alone have one of my heroes record one of our songs. It's so stupid.
I know, and you go through her like catalog, and I was similar to you, like listening to her tunes growing up. My dad would spin "Nick of Time" or "Silver Linings" or whatever, like in the house. But like going back, like her first record came out like 1972 or something like that.
It's crazy.
It's like she's been making music for so long.
And I listened to an interview with her the other day because she's doing all this press for her new record, and they were like, so, you know, did you ever get any pressure to do things? And she was like, yeah, but I never listened. I just always did my own thing.
Just did what I want to do.
And that is so refreshing because I think so many people think you just got to get bossed around by your record label. And somebody like Bonnie Raitt, who's like, she didn't hit her stride until, you know, I think it was Nick of Time was the first big record for her.
Yeah.
First big record. Like she was loved by her peers and she had a great fan base, but it wasn't her big thing until then. And she just sort of stuck at it, and I think that's really inspiring because that's kind of what we've been doing. We've had people tell us that our entire careers that we should be doing something different. And just like, well, if I could, I would, but this is what I do. Unfortunately, I wake up and I play the guitar like this dumbass way, and managed to trick some people coming to some shows, I guess.
Did you guys work with Mr. Singleton on any of the new songs on the new record that you're working on?
Yeah, 2 tunes. There's a song called, it's coming back to me, After the Rain, which was first tune we wrote with him for the record, and then another one called What in the World, which is going to be, I'm pretty sure is the next single
Cool.
on our new record. Yeah.
And when is your new record coming out?
May 13. May 13.
Very nice.
Yes.
Do you know how many singles you plan to release before the album drops?
Three. Yeah. 3, and there'll be a lead track, which is still a mystery to me because it comes out on the same day as the record. But I don't know. My brother does all that smart guy stuff. Dave and Stu.
Shout out to Dave.
Shout
And
out to
Stu,
Dave.
yeah.
Shout out to Stu. Friggin' love you guys.
Nice. And then tour. Obviously, you guys have tour plans, but like things for all of our American friends, things are just kind of starting to reopen in Canada, where you could actually go out and do any shows that would be worthwhile in any capacity.
Yeah, it's just kind of getting back. We were supposed to be in Europe in March, but we ended up having to postpone it, and it's a drag because like all the COVID restrictions got lifted like 2 or 3 days after. But the reality is like, you know, booking a tour for us, booking a tour is at least a year out.
Right.
And so, you know, if tickets aren't selling or, you know, PR isn't going the way that we're wanting it to go, it's like, oh man, we got to pivot because we have to put the right amount of work into it. So we postponed that to September, and then we're doing a bunch of Canadian stuff in June and American stuff in June as well. So we'll be in Nashville June.
Yes.
He's gonna say 4th.
18.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
3 days after my birthday.
you want to go for hot chicken, Joey?
Get hurt?
Oh man, got so hurt. Got so hurt. Like just
From
one of
where?
those like
Was it Hattie B's?
Princess.
Yeah, Hattie
Was it
B's.
Princess? Hattie B's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll have the medium. You should have the mild. I'll have the medium. You should have the mild. I'll have the mild. Oh my God. I'm on Fuzz. What have I done?
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop eating it.
No,
it was
it's
just
so
like, it
delicious.
was so good,
Amazing.
but I was sick for like a week after that.
I know. You told me that you would never go back with me.
This guy, JC, is asking, talking about cover tunes, any chance of an Undercover Bros Part 2? And just so everybody knows, that was a record that you guys did. What was that? When was that?
2016? Yeah.
Yeah, live record. Was it at Spotify that you did that? Or no, was it?
It was for Spotify.
For Spotify.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a project with Spotify. I think probably yeah. Yeah, we've been talking about doing like a volume 2 of that for a long time, but yeah, definitely going to do that. The other thing that we're going to do is
What songs are going to be on it?
Sweet Home Alabama, but we're going to change Alabama to Manitoba. And then just that in 6 different keys.
Okay.
And they're just going to get progressively slower.
I was gonna say, is it all one track though? Like
Well,
you just
it's kind of like,
6
you know-
key changes
Yeah,
over
yeah.
like 42 minutes.
Like Birdman was done in one shot. It's going to be like that. We're going to have this I don't need to say any of this.
You can't let the cat out of the bag on everything, right?
I can't tell all my secrets.
Yeah.
But the 10-year anniversary of Let It Lie is coming up, so we're probably going to do something special for that.
Nice.
Awesome.
We're going to cover our friggin' selves.
Dude, yeah. Joey's version, like Taylor's version.
Like Taylor's version. Yeah, we can get those 14 spins back from the label.
Nice.
Yeah.
You were going to say something. Sorry, I interrupted you, but we were talking about Undercover Brothers, and that you were planning to do that somewhere in the future, and then there was some other project or something you were going to mention, or I feel like I interrupted you when I asked you what songs were going to be on it. I ruined it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. My brain is only at 25% capacity these days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only ever at 25% capacity.
It's down from 27. that 2 is real important. Though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happened when my daughter was born.
Yes. Hey, why don't you tell us about this thing on the floor here?
Oh yeah,
Can we show that, Stobes?
Let's get the fuzz
that?
cam out.
my buddy Aaron in Ottawa makes these crazy fuzz faces. Maybe we have a tuner in.
Oh man. Yeah, that's
Cleans up
impressive.
nice because
Yeah.
it does that sparkly thing, huh?
It does that sparkly thing. Yeah, it's it's awesome. I mean, it's too big for a pedal board, right? Mm-hmm. That's why Hendrix never liked him. Mm-hmm. I'm just kidding. What an idiot.
Yeah, Aaron, you should make them smaller. Have you thought about making them smaller, Aaron? Have you seen how small the rev pedals are?
Man, they're freaking tiny.
They're tiny compared to that.
Yeah, but do they
I
have
could eat dinner off of that.
do they have little tears on them? Nope.
Nope. Do they have crocuses on them?
Croci, I believe, is
Croci.
the plural of crocus.
I thought I was going to like...
Crocuses.
Idiot. No,
on now.
crocuses.
Crocuses.
Crocuses. I don't know. Somebody tell us in the comment section below. I feel like
What
such
is
a
the plural
YouTuber.
of crocus?
Yeah, somebody
probably
look it up.
crocus.
And I don't want. Don't,
Kyle, Kyle writes all our copy, so I
Yeah.
feel like this should be part of his job, actually.
Yeah.
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 It's about to say the plural of crocus. I can't say words.
None of
That's
us
it.
can.
I'm not gonna try anymore.
Me fail English?
Yeah. That's impossible.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it also does that when you turn the volume all the way down, just like the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very cool. Somebody asked there. Jimmy asked, at some point, are you going to talk about your custom-made guitar?
Sure.
Ooh.
What do you want to know about it, Jimmy? Jimothy? Let us know. in the
Jimothy?
Jimothy? Is that if that's really your name?
Kyle. Well, I was going to look it up, but now I'm not.
This is built by my buddy Alex Sorokin in Edmonton, and it is yeah, it's been my number one for the last handful of years, and it's kind of inspired by an all gold 54 that I played at Carter's a handful of years ago, and then sadly is monstrously out of my price range. And so I called him and said, "Hey, would you ever want to do one of these?" And he said, "I actually don't take orders for guitars. I just build kind of what I want, but I've always really wanted to build an all gold top, and somebody just sent me your record, so let's do it." So it was
That's
very.
awesome.
Just
it
know
was
I'm not
very
building it because you want it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
building it 'cause
building
I
because
want to.
I want to, and if you have this many dollars on this day, then
And
I might be able to squeak you.
Do you have
in
any
front
other
of mine.
specifications or anything that
Yeah.
you're looking for in this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That maybe I also want.
Yeah, exactly. That I could tell you whether or not it's good or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that sounds like it's fine.
Yeah.
think
Pretty much.
that'll work.
But yeah, it's a beautiful guitar. It's really beautifully made, and I just have a bond with it. And
And
Scott-
you were telling me, I mean, it's pretty like dead nuts 54 spec, right? Like,
it is. Alex is an incredible sort of attention for detail kind of guy. So, I mean, everything. Of course, the headstock is different, but all the things that you could, all the rabbit holes that you could fall down as a guitar builder, Alex has fallen down. And I think the thing he's probably most proud of is his gold recipe, like the actual the paint recipe, and he's been working on it for years and years and years and years and years, and I think he kind of nailed it. And yeah, and I've played 54s, a real 54 up against it, and it holds its own. It's a very, very cool instrument. I mean, the other thing is like I play such a specific setup, but I play in a weird tuning, and so there are just things that about this guitar that just I connect with because of that as well. It sort of handles that situation really, really well, and I find it really inspiring, and it speaks. So
yeah.
yeah.
The 54s kind of have a reputation for being difficult to play. Like, that year is just kind of like, there's a few things that are, but I noticed like is this like a compensated bridge and stuff like that?
Yeah, this is a bridge that we like. Initially.
Well, it is called Gear and Beer, so we're talking about gear. And
Okay. Do we want to do this? Can you guys get a little closer to the microphone when you do that? Just kidding. But yeah, so originally it had just a straight bar, which didn't bother me at all until I just noticed the intonation being out one day on a session, and then I just could not unnotice it.
Right.
And then I started to fall down that rabbit hole, and any of my guitars with adjustable tailpieces, I started to notice that there's, like, with the strings that I use and the tuning that I use, this really bizarre intonation curve. And everybody that I've talked to who really knows about this stuff, they say it doesn't make sense, other than the fact that it just doesn't intonate.
Right.
And it's this, like, really weird, like, EKG looking sort of curve. So we kind of measured it out as best we could, and then we talked to the guy from Mojo Axe, I think, and said, "Hey, could you make a crazy compensated thing?" And he was like, "I think I could do that."
Nice.
And that's this. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot closer.
Yeah.
And it makes a really, really big difference. But this guitar also has literally over a year-old strings on it, so any chance of it playing in tune right now.
So if you could go to Joey's website and donate some money to him so he could buy a set of
String
strings.
I just put up my email address for my PayPal.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be
Starting
great.
to GoFundMe tonight.
We could get you some strings, Joe. It's okay.
No, I have
Yeah,
strings. I have strings.
You're just like, I'm just not going to do it.
The thing is that because of the pandemic, I haven't been playing very much, and my hands are kind of out of shape. So I've been using lighter strings, and there's like, I've been wanting to go back to my normal string gauge, but then I'm like, man, then I'm gonna have to reset it up, then I'm gonna have to re-intonate it, and I just don't have the courage for that right now. I just don't have what it takes. I got a 1-year-old baby at home, which is great, and I just, instead of spending 90 minutes setting up my guitar, I'm gonna hang out with my kid or my wife.
That's a proper choice.
Mm-hmm. Your priorities, they change.
Yeah.
Never, like a 25-year-old version of me would be like, change your strings, you lazy bastard. But,
Yeah, 41-year-old me tells Sam to get his dad to change the strings and set up my guitar.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but I also get that done on each guitar that I use like once a year.
Right.
Which Sean can attest to because he picked up the EVH guitar that was here.
Yeah.
And he's like, he picked it up, felt the neck, and was just like, "I'll just put that back." Like,
Set that back down. Yeah.
we're not using this one, right? Like that's not the one we need tonight.
Yeah. Oh, my dad is a guitar repairman as well, amongst many other things that he does. But every time he picks up my guitars, he's just like, "Oh, God, these are awful." It's like that's how I like them.
Yeah.
That's the funk. That's what Jamerson said, right?
Yeah. Something like that.
So
What's going on? Oh, Dan Blom from EB Rooster Guitars. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
dude.
Nice.
Hey,
Dan
Dan.
builds great guitars.
Hey, Dan.
I don't know how to say that, but YMESYDT. What guitars and amps did Joey use on the record? I'm assuming the new record.
On the new record, this guitar got a lot of love. I have a hollow body, like 335 style thing made by Josh Williams, which I love recording with that guitar. Collings I-35, which is kind of similar thing, but also kind of different. And then I used a Duesenberg baritone a lot on that record. Came up a lot. I have, what else did I use? 12-string. Duesenberg 12-string. And I'm trying to think if I'm missing.
Is your
any of the other
12-string in
guitars.
standard tuning, or is it in an alternate tuning?
It's an open E.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I tune it to open tuning, which is a very sad time. If you can imagine that I don't want to change my strings on this. The idea of going from open E to standard tuning is heartbreaking. It's devastating. On the 12 string, but it does happen. And then amps I used, I got a collection of like old Fenders. So I used Brownface Super, Brownface Concert, a Super Reverb, Greer Mini Chief. You guys ever play one of those?
No.
Oh man, Greer Mini Chief,
Yeah?
wicked. It's like they're like 2 or 4 watts, rock and roll machine.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Guy makes good stuff.
he does.
He does,
Let's
yeah.
make some good stuff. My 2-Rock, the Bloomfield, D20 made a few appearances. You know, yeah, lots of stuff. And
Is that the Super Reverb of Paul's?
my dad actually has one.
Okay.
Yeah, but Paul's is killer.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. It's 70 something, I think.
Yeah.
70...
I remember it's a 70-something silver face. I know
Yeah.
that.
And it's like both Paul's and my dad's, I think, are not even necessarily the cool era of silver face Fenders, but they're just killer,
Yeah.
just really special.
Yeah, and I don't know if like when Paul got his, I don't remember if he said it was stock or not. Paul's right there. Paul, tell us about that Super Reverb.
Paul also says Mini Chief, 3 watts of glory.
3 watts.
Nice.
And the crowd goes smiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, what year is your Super Reverb, Paul? But his was not stock, but I think he had it returned to stock.
Oh, I sent it to Larry.
I think he sent it to Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek's trying to buy a 64 Super Reverb when he comes out of Nashville.
Ooh.
Might.
Man, you have some really nice amps.
I do. I don't know how to play them, Joey. But Sean does.
He's got him around.
And so does Travis.
Hey, we should
haven't used this
ask Sean some questions.
Okay.
No,
Are you-
I'm just here to take up a chair. You guys are
I
doing
think Sean
great,
prefers
man.
it this way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
Sean's
been,
like,
I've been loving this.
This is great.
Perfect.
This is the easiest night of work I've had all.
This is a good
I
way
just-
to live
any-
your life.
Anytime I'm in a room with Sean Tubbs, I'm just like, what am I doing here?
Oh, forget
I
it.
would like to know from both of you guys.
Why Sean
Them
is
two
so
or-
fucking good at the
You,
guitar?
you can answer later too. I mean, what I really want to know is just from them preliminarily, so we can get to the meat of
Yeah.
the answer to this
yeah,
question.
Okay, go ahead.
That is,
you guys go ahead first.
what would you say? Okay, is this your favorite fuzz pedal? Would you say, or what would you say is your favorite fuzz? Or, and for Sean, what would you say is your favorite drive?
Oh.
Because you're more of an overdrive guy, and obviously,
Yeah.
I mean, Joey, I know you're into drive pedals as well,
Yeah, I think I tend to lean towards drives that are a little bit less gain. I think what I tend to shy away from is any pedal that makes me feel like I need to play differently.
Okay.
So if I turn on an overdrive and feel like, okay, I can't, do my usual, and I feel like I have to like do something else, because all of a sudden the pedal's not really, in my lane, I guess that's kind of part of it. I mean, I do have a pretty definitive sound in my head that I'm always trying to drag out of really any overdrive. But yeah, I would say that's it. I mean, you can kind of pick one. I mean, this little daily driver is actually a pretty cool.
That's the Schnobel tone?
Yeah.
That thing's awesome.
That one works pretty good. Pretty much anything, well, I don't like what I consider like a bump overdrive. So I tend to stray away from like the TS style pedals, unless I'm trying to fit in a track.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah.
Unless I want the band to hear me. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I want to
Or
get
the
heard.
listener.
Yeah. When it's in an ensemble, it's like things tend to change. But yeah, that's really it. It's overdrive pedals. It's like I love the one that's working at the moment. I always have a hard time saying, well, this one's the one. We'll just get this one. It's like, well, there's a bunch of them that sound great. So yeah, it's hard for me to just pick one.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Fuzzes because I really like this one. I mean, because I've got a pretty growing Fuzz collection. The ones that wind up coming out and on my pedalboard are the ones that I have like more sentimental stories with, like so and so built this. Like this one I think is really cool because I mean it's a killer fuzz. It sounds incredible, but Aaron worked really hard to get these like Manitoba crocuses on there, and that just means something to me. Like we kind of bonded over like the effort that he went to that, and I think it's beautiful and sounds great, looks great. But I'm always looking for something that I kind of like, for something to make me want to play a different way. Because if left to my own devices, I will just kind of sit there and repeat myself, and I don't have the vocabulary. So I like something that's going to kind of make me have to react, and because especially with my own music, I really love to improvise, even if it's just like little moments, changing how I would play something on the fly or something. It just keeps me in the moment on stage and present playing. And so if something reacts in a way that I'm not expecting, then it makes me react and I like that. Sometimes it's a disaster. So I'll take something, I'm just like, oh no, why did I do that? Why is this the only pedal I brought? And I have done that. I have done that and been like, you know what? On this tour, I'm only going to bring a wah-wah and a reverb tank. And then it was just like, get to the first gig, like, fuck. Where is the nearest Longham-McQuaid? But, yeah, I don't know. I especially nowadays, I'm kind of leaning more towards things that I have a sentimental connection with, and people whose work ethic I really love, and who I think are doing cool things. I mean, everybody's doing cool stuff, but and nowadays I'm gonna put something on my pedalboard that my friend built long before I put something that is sort of recognized to be the cool thing.
Right.
Because I've gone through that, and I have a room full of pedals that were the coolest thing at the time, and it's just like, yeah, that's great, but so is this, and so is that, and so is this. I think you get to a point, Sean, you probably feel this, but you develop a bit of a skill set to problem solve with just about anything. Like if you wind up, you're in a situation where you have to use a bunch of pedals that you don't like, you'll still be able to get a good sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me is like, I spend enough time playing through blues breaker style overdrive circuits that when I plug into one, I know what to do with it. And even if it doesn't do exactly what I want, I know that it's still going to translate. So
yeah, and that's the thing. If you've been playing long enough, it's like you will change your touch almost subconsciously to basically make that sound happen.
Totally.
It just kind of happens over the years.
Yeah.
So a couple other questions. So one of the ones back further up, Anthony asked, I don't know if you can talk about it, Sean, but he asked about whether or not you can talk about your time working with STP.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, that would take a minute. But, I mean, just briefly, I went to high school with Scott, I was in choir with Scott. As things went on, my twin brother, Scott, this is going to get confusing, Scott Tubbs, became very good friends with Scott Weiland. Went all the way through high school. Those dudes were joined at the hip forever. And Rob DeLeo is really where I kind of come into the STP picture, even though I was around Scott Weiland a bit. I wasn't close with him like my brother Scott Tubbs was. Rob DeLeo ended up working, and I'm very condensing this, so if Rob catches this, he's going to be like, what? There's all kinds of steps there. But he started working at a shop that my brother and I were running. Now, I'd met him well before that, but this was just before STP was kind of turning into STP, and Dean had kind of joined the act, and they were kind of carving out these tunes. And in that time period when he was working at the shop is when the first record was finished and dropped. Like, he literally brought in a demo of, all the hits. He was like, what do you think of these songs? And I was like, I'm hearing all that stuff. I'm just going, it's gorgeous. Are you kidding me? You're going to be rich. And next thing I know, it's like off to the races. Rob's gone. He's out doing his thing. And they ended up doing, got around to the MTV Unplugged thing, which always happens. And they initially asked me, or Rob asked me, hey, would you mind, because I was playing so much acoustic back then, would you mind just dropping by and helping us arrange these songs, for acoustic? And so I went and kind of did that in one rehearsal with them, and then that kind of morphed into, hey, man, why don't you just play with us for MTV Unplugged? And then Eric Kretz, the drummer, was like, well, what's the deal, man? I want Lonnie to come. Lonnie's my older brother. He's a drummer. And he's like, well, what's he going to play? It's like, I don't care. I just want Lonnie to come, too. So that's the reason Lonnie's up there with shakers and congas and stuff like that. But it's all just because, I was pals with Rob, and I'm still love that guy dearly. And Dean's awesome. Eric, they're all super, super sweet people. But, yeah, it just kind of morphed into that, and then did Saturday Night Live. And, yeah, it was really, really fun. Definitely one of the highlights of my life. And I'm glad I still know those cats. They're really, really sweet guys. And like I said, that's a very condensed story. I mean, there were many steps that led up to that. But, yeah, that's how it happened.
That is cool.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Yes, sir. That's my story.
I have no stories where I ended up playing on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, me neither. Weird.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
It's so weird.
Or-
it's like, it's going to happen, though.
Yeah,
you and me
MTV
we're
Unplugged.
going to go
MTV
into
Unplugged.
MTV Unplugged duo.
Yes. What are we going to play?
Nickelback songs.
Perfect.
Jimmy Ray Hawkins. Can you scroll up just a touch? Jimmy. No,
Just
sorry.
a
the other way
which?
down. Yeah. Dean and Bukovac, Trip the Witch, good stuff. Tubbs. Is there a possibility of doing something with the DeLeo brothers?
I've actually, the songs didn't end up going anywhere, but Robert and I got together a few years ago and worked up some really beautiful acoustic stuff. And if you watch Rob's Insta thingy, he's playing a ton of acoustic stuff, just sitting and just playing beautiful stuff on acoustic guitar. I would say that's a possibility. I would love to. It's hard to get things like that to come together. But the last stuff that Rob and I did together was just absolutely gorgeous, and we were trying to pitch it more for film, kind of more cinematic stuff. But man, I would love to do something with Rob or even Dean. Yeah, that would be killer. It could happen.
That Trip the Witch record is pretty cool.
Beautiful, yeah.
That opening track. Have you heard it?
No.
They did an opening track and they sent it to John Anderson from Yes, and he put vocals on it. It's freaking spacey, beautiful music. It's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Back to some talk about gear. I did see, if you scroll up a little bit there, Stobes, a little more. Okay, so
Growing
yeah.
Fuzz Collection, new band name. That's good.
That's better than our other band name, Travis.
Yeah.
That one's a little
Yeah.
more
Can't
provocative.
say that one on
Yeah.
TV.
Very provocative band name.
No, down a little bit, sorry. Yeah, right there.
I'll tell you when we're off the air.
The Michael addiction, or addition,
Okay,
not
sounds
addiction. Who's addicted to Michael? What about pickups?
Oh, sorry, what?
Are they hand wound or from
about
an
'em?
available vendor? They sound great. The pickups in your guitar.
Oh, these are RON Ellis 50s. And originally I had throwbacks in here, which are also very wonderful. But man, RON Ellis, That dude is a wizard. He's a pickup wizard. It's crazy. I got a bunch of his pickups over the last year and a bit, and it's like it's such a small difference, but it's such a massive difference. Like this guitar just feels, it went from sounding and feeling great to sounding great and feeling old, like in all the good ways. Yeah, and it's like. Yeah, we just love them. They're really, really touch sensitive, and all of his pickups have this little tiny bit of squish on them that reminds me of old guitars. It's just got this little tiny bit of like their own kind of compression. It's hard to really describe what it is, and it's like, honestly, like when I changed the pickups out, I recorded like all of the stuff that I do on all sort of 3 pickup settings with the original pickups, and then I did the same thing with the RON Ellis. And if you listen to them alone, it's not a huge difference. It's just, again, it's like in the way that they feel and the way that they react and the way they make you play.
Yeah.
These are a little, the throwbacks are just a little bit muddy, or more muddy in sort of the low mids, and these are a little bit more open and airy. They have more top end than I would naturally gravitate to, but when you kind of work it all into the situation, it's really, really great.
I was going to say that neck pickup is surprisingly bright, because a neck pickup P90 can tend to be kind of woolly and like kind of smoky, round sounding.
For sure, this is not that. I mean, it can do it, but it's quite a bit brighter than the other one.
But it's still got the right growl. It's got the vintage growl. It's not like it's missing that. But the top end, like air, is definitely quite a bit more present.
There's some sparkle.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I love them, and I have a set of his Strat pickups that are just bonkers good.
Awesome.
Anyway.
Well, how about we hear a little bit more from the two of you?
Okay.
How about just Joey? I'm tapped out.
Yeah?
Yeah, go for it, Joey. Do your thing, man.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So there's a lot of gospel changes in there. Did you grow up on any of that stuff at all? Like just old gospel changes?
I fell into some of that stuff in a bit of a weird way, but I definitely immersed myself in sort of that, like some of that gospel stuff. I'm a really big fan of Hammond B3 players. And I used to play with this guy who's actually grew up in the South, but like his mom was from Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, and his dad is from Alabama or something. I can't remember. And I played in his band, and I was we were doing all like Keep on the Sunny Side and tunes like that, like old gospel tunes, and I over harmonizing them like crazy. And he kept going, man, Joey, man, you play so nice, but man, I just think there's too many notes in your chords. And so I was like, okay, man. So I start like one note at a time, taking notes out of the chords that I was playing until eventually I was only playing triads.
Wow.
And, you know, really started to get into like the... You know, you get all these changes like C major, D minor, C major, D minor, C major, and just get all these great sounds. And I started to really kind of lean into that and find more music that was doing that kind of stuff. And I just I keep finding myself going back to those sounds and trying to learn more about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds great, Joey.
Thank you.
That stuff's killing.
Thank you.
All right. So, anybody else got any other questions for us?
I can't see
it
it.
feels like we're going long. I can't tell what time it is. So,
We're 1 hour and 10.
okay. What else you guys want to know? What else you want to hear from anybody? Yeah, Travis, why don't you tell me what your favorite overdrive pedal is?
Oh, God. You don't want to know what my favorite overdrive pedal is, do you?
I do.
Okay.
I'm not even poking fun
Right
at you.
now, I've been kind of on this Noble's ODR1 kick.
Okay.
So, buddy of mine, Owen Barry, shout out to Owen Barry, Nashville guy. Well,
Yeah.
recent Nashville guy like me. He and I did a shootout last week of a few different pedals. We checked out the J Rocket GTO, which is the Guthrie Trap overdrive that's based on that. We had a real ODR, and then this company called Cascade that makes a version of like a original, just like any pedal, right? Like the current ODR ones apparently are no good. The old ones are the ones you want.
Right. Of course.
Of course.
The ones that are $1,000
The ones you can't
instead
find.
of the ones that are $80 or
Yeah.
$95, whatever it is. Yeah. That's how you know it's good.
Yeah, yeah, but I really like the Cascade one. Like the Cascade was great. It was, you know, just a nice, well-built pedal. Those pedals tend to be really fat in the low end, which explains why there's a popular in Nashville, because it's, you know, a Tele bridge pickup. They sound amazing.
Yep.
But the Cascade pedal gives you a cool bass knob, so you can kind of dial some of it out. Because the new ODR ones they have a bass roll-off switch, but it's like too drastic.
Okay.
It gets like too thin. So, but yeah, I've been really liking
Perfect
that.
for when you want too much low end or not enough low end.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
my favorite.
Yeah, I really like that one. I've been a perennial Timmy user. That's always kind of
Yeah.
been my benchmark. Overdrive just works for me. But yeah, those are the ones.
Did you hear that the Timmy is just a clone of the Timmy? I love it when people do that. When you're like, I love this pedal. Like, it's just a clone of the Timmy. Like, okay, cool.
Right on.
Right on.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Dan Blom. I don't know if this is a serious question from Dan or not. That's Dan from EB Rooster. Do you remember EB Rooster?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he's wondering what string gauge you're using.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I mean, I'm using slightly different string gauge right now. I do get asked a lot. So he could be razzing, or he could actually be curious.
Yeah.
Valid question regardless, Dan.
I don't judge you, Dan.
No,
I don't care
not
what
the way
Derek
Derek
says.
does.
Oh no. I judge everybody. I judge everybody who asks that. Maybe not so much of you because you're playing slide, but any other time I see it online when people are like,
What kind of picks do you use?
Yeah, what string gauge are you using? I'm like, does that matter at all? Like,
Yeah.
pretty sure Van Halen did quite fine with 8s or 9s or whatever he had.
Or tens, or
Like,
who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because I play in this dumb tuning, I do use really heavy strings. So I think in classic slide tradition, slide players often use heavy strings. But so normally I have been using 19 to 64, but these are 17 to 60. Because the 19s were just getting a little tough for my hands.
Yeah, the 19s were a little too heavy for
They're
you.
a little
Yeah?
heavy.
Exactly.
But I'm tuned down 2 full steps, you see. So the 19s,
doesn't matter,
I
Joe.
think the tension is like, it's heavy, but it's not like you're tuning
Still
up to
can't
E.
play your guitar.
Nice.
Bose.
Oh, I see. This is intentional.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's called Gear and Beard.
Oh. I was like, what
like,
are those
what?
guys doing?
That is so unprofessional.
Holy,
Absolutely.
what kind of operation are you running here, sir?
Jeff Boss says, started a little late, but catching up. Joey, got my tickets for the first show of the new tour in Hamilton. Can't
Nice.
Oh, amazing. Is that, we're playing at Mills Hardware, I think, in Hamilton. Love that place. Glad that it survived the pandemic. It's a beautiful room. Beautiful town. Hamilton, come on. The
Steel
Hammer.
Town.
Yeah. Hamilton is kind of it's kind of like Winnipeg.
You shouldn't read what he puts on there.
Don't
It's
read that.
not a good idea.
What did he put on there? Oh, I
David
actually
Bond.
I cannot read that from here, but I can see the shape of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Holy balls, says Daniel Blum.
So, funny story about Hamilton, and maybe you were there when this happened, but so for you guys, you may not know, but people who don't live in Winnipeg, when they find out you live in Winnipeg, they go, "Oh, are you from the Peg?" And I think a lot of people like it, but I'm just kind of a natural curmudgeon, and I hate it. I hate it when somebody's like, "Oh, you're from the Peg, eh?" Like, yeah, I'm from the Peg.
To steal all their joy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's where I'm from. Thanks for asking. But in Hamilton, they call it the Hammer. And I was like, I know that Hamiltonians also hate this for sure. And so it was like early on in my solo career, I was learning how to do stage banter. And I was like, this is going to be I'm going to get the crowd with this thing. So I came out and I was like, hey, you know how people call Hamilton the Hammer and people call Winnipeg the Peg, and I hate that. Don't you hate it when they call Hamilton the Hammer? And like the entire audience, like collectively, was like, no.
No, actually,
We like it a lot.
It was like if
Hammers
400
are rad, dude.
if 400 people could all at the same time go, no, we actually kind of like that. That's the sound that the audience made. It was like literally a whole like shrug.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
Group.
ah! And then the whole show was pooched for the rest.
So that's what bothers you? That they call it the Peg? Oh, that's interesting.
I do. When you're in Vancouver, people from Vancouver are like that too. They're like, oh, you're from the Peg. You must be happy to be on the coast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I would be if you weren't here.
Yeah. My buddy Jeremy, I think he's watching. I saw him say hi. He bugs me nonstop about how do I feel about living in like the butthole of Canada, like living in Winnipeg where there's nothing worth doing.
How
here.
much
And I'm
did
like,
your house cost there, Vancouver? Right? That's
Yeah,
what I want to know.
exactly. Yeah.
He said, "Fightily."
Finally.
Anyways, I'm being a dink.
Okay, there were some other questions I want to get to. If you scroll back up, a little bit higher up, there's a couple questions for Sean. Sean, how did you get into country style?
Country style is a very accidental thing for me because I will never consider myself like a country player.
As he does that.
The country thing. The country thing for me is, I got into all that because when I started playing with Carrie Underwood, I played zero country. And then at some point, I had to like fake it. So what I figured out is if I just play the same old crap I always play, if I just play it clean, people are going to think it's country. So that's pretty much, and then every once in a while I'll play an actual country thing.
Is there a lot of room for melodic minor licks in Carrie Underwood band?
When I do it, yeah. Oh yeah. They were actually so cool about it. Like I can't even play the solo that I did for Cupid's Got a Shotgun anymore, but it was pretty outside, and I thought because I couldn't do Brad's solo, so I was like, well, screw it, I'm just gonna write my own solo.
That is
That's how
awesome.
it happened.
I love hearing that.
So I was just like, oh, I'm so fired. If I managed to pull this solo I wrote off, they're just gonna fire me when they hear it because it's just so.
You play stuff and Carrie's like, is that like Coltrane stuff that you're doing?
Exactly, yeah, I was doing that kind of crap.
Oh, I love that.
And I thought, oh, I'm so fired. But they loved it. They were like, this is killer,
My whole sideman career, people were like, can you just play the solo that's on the record? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I'm just out here, like, holding my heart in my fucking hand. Oops. Hopefully I can say that on here.
Sorry, Daisy.
Sorry, Days.
But I do have ultimate respect for amazing country players. So I'm not belittling. I'm just saying I'm not a country player, but I would love to actually be a country player. But I just know that's not that ain't the cards.
I didn't even bother reading the other comment about the guy asking you to play the solo from Letterman, but
Yeah, that's
you
not gonna happen.
you started talking about it, so I can at least get a nod to it. But there was another great question that was asked a little further up that was asking which guitar players inspire you guys right now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, what guitars have been inspiring you?
A lot more.
Recently.
Guitarists,
You can say me. It's okay.
guitarsers, Derek Giesfeld.
Yeah. That's right.
Guitarsers.
Travis Timmy.
Man, I'm kind of going back to old heroes these days. I'm listening to lots of Ry Cooder. I've been really big on this kick of like trying to find my heroes, and I've been really enjoying that. I mean, that's kind of why I mentioned like the Kings when talking about Stevie Ray, because I think all the things that make somebody really special are just the amalgamation of the people that they thought were special.
Yeah.
And I love to jokingly say like my sound is just me doing bad impressions of my favorite guitar players, and somehow somebody else doesn't hear that.
Yeah.
That's my imposter syndrome calling. But yeah, so I mean Ry Cooder, and one of his big influences is this guy named Joseph Spence, who's a gospel guitar player from I think the Bahamas, but definitely somewhere in the Caribbean, but I can't confirm. And his rhythm playing is insane. And when you hear him play these old hymns, it sounds like Ry Cooder on steroids. It's really really incredible. So I've been kind of doing that, like kind of trying to find interviews with my favorite guitar players and hearing who they were listening to, and then checking those people out and seeing what I can get from that. But anyway,
Yeah.
I've been going backwards in time a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How
Yeah,
about you, Sean?
I should do that more. I just like to hear players like Joey. That's why I made Joey do that, put him on the spot. But I like to hear. I've been gravitating more towards guitar players that can just sit and emote something. So I really like kind of checking back into Bill Frisell, and I'm kind of checking back in to Julian Lange. Cats that can just sit down and just emote, and just where they literally, their rehearsal time is practicing improvisation, and how can I build on this, or I'm just going to circle back around, but every time I circle back around, it's got to be something else, and I know that that's like a big weakness in my playing, so I've been trying to just at least have that input in my ears. And just growing up as a player, I just found if I was just listening sometimes and not trying to sit down and learn any of it, but just let it kind of subconsciously kind of sneak in, all of a sudden it does. I'll realize, wow, this input is actually translating in a way that wasn't difficult for me. And then if I really want to sit down and learn what they're up to, then I will. But a lot of my playing isn't so much a deep dive into any one player. It's more just whatever caught my ear or moved me. I just want to hear it over and over and over. And it's funny because I won't even really study like the record or who produced it or even the year. It's just like, wow, I'm just going to listen to this over and over and over. I'm going to get in the car and it's going to play in the car. And somehow it just kind of translates into, it works its way into kind of that, like you said, it's like you're kind of stirring the pot and you end up kind of having this amalgamation of all these cool players that you love, and you're not totally nailing any of their style, but in the process of doing it wrong or just trying it all, you develop a style that's your own. And so for me, that's kind of been lately, it's the emotive guitar players.
I love that. I think a lot of times we get really wrapped up in collecting and amassing vocabulary, because it's such a big part as a young musician to transcribe, and and I think at some point you do actually, because I don't practice much these days. I don't have a lot of time to, but I feel like even though my hands aren't actually in as good a shape as they have been in the past, I do feel like I'm playing better than I ever have, because I think I'm at a point where I spend all my time thinking about what is this lick, what are these note groupings, what is this subdivision, what is this blah, blah, blah. But when I do have time to listen to something, I find myself spending more time thinking about why did they make that choice as opposed to what exactly is that. Because the thing that makes that thing cool is, you know, we've all done it where you hear a lick and you're like, that's incredible, I'm going to learn it. And then when you play it, it doesn't have the same impact. And I think because the thing that makes something impactful is why they made the choice. How did you land on that? And it's like, you know, so-and-so is going to make these choices because they listened to this, and then they were thinking about, you know, who knows? But you just got to find your own way to get to those places.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've just been watching a lot of Netflix, personally.
Yeah, I think like the new Hawkeye is riveting, and I find it really inspiring, actually.
Or anything sci-fi is.
Oh man, have you guys watched Foundation?
No, you told me about it, though.
Foundation on Apple TV Plus. Whew. Dang.
Sci-fi?
It's from an Asimov book.
Okay.
Isaac Asimov. I don't read, but the show is good.
But
I mean, I would read it.
Right.
I would read if I could.
All right, let's answer some other questions. Jeremy Bortot, nothing will help you get more chicks. Don't bother asking. So, Joey's slide isn't going to help you, and nothing is going to. So.
Oh, you think that helps with chicks?
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, scroll down a little bit. Okay, Terry says, recently I've been trying to see groupings of arpeggios instead of scales. I hear you doing things like that a lot, Sean. Is that something you practice still, or do you just send it most of the time?
Just send her.
It's
full
just
send.
send her, bud. You mean like that? I'm trying to think of like an example. Yeah, I guess sometimes I don't. Yeah, I guess I don't. Some of that's arpeggio. You know, which is pretty. It seems like that's a straight ahead tritone thing in the key of A. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I guess it's not. I mean, that's more of a shape. That's like a flat 5 shape, but I guess you could see that as an arpeggio, but I don't really. I wouldn't say that I think in that way. I do. I guess I do just kind of send her.
We call that grip it and rip it.
Yeah. That's triad. So I guess I do. You know, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know a ton of scales. I know major scales that I tweak. I know shapes. There's shapes that I love. That kind of stuff. Or like in the key of C, you know, if I hear kind of a I'll try to find the tonalities within that, but I don't see that as a scale. I saw this or heard this and just thought there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for me to get from here to here, you know, melodically. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the map, and I certainly do think triads, but you know. I mean, I guess from like a gypsy jazz perspective, I guess, you know, I might play a more spread out triad, but it's just because I want to get from this speed bump to this speed bump a lot quicker. You know, it's really all that is. You know, it's just how my mind works. So the worst question you can ask me is anything about theory.
Bo wants to know if you've ever used the minor pentatonic scale. I do
what
all
is
the
that?
time, Bo. That's all I got.
That was his joke.
I get, yeah, sometimes. Is that minor? Is that what that is?
You trip me out, dude, because like I feel like there's like a genius savant level thing of the way you hear harmony, and like you hear crazy extensions like as naturally as most people hear just like 1-4-5. You know what I mean? Like the way he was just getting from like the crazy altered 5 chord to the 1, like.
Yeah, well, so the problem is I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm always trying to just find like, if I can find a way, if I'm hearing something like this, then I'm trying to look for. Yeah, and then. Yeah.
That's how you get chicks.
That's yeah. All the girls
Play them salty
all
chords.
all the girls are swooning now.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, and I'm sure like in that tuning, I was noticing, Joy, like when you're doing some of those movements, which would be similar to the, like it kind of falls like in that tuning, those movements, like it
Is
seems
that
like it
gospel
falls.
changes kind of thing?
Yeah, it's sort of. I mean, Joey's way better at it, but that type of those type of movements seem to fall under that tuning like really nicely. Yeah.
When a lot of people talk about gospel changes, are they talking like rhythm changes kind of thing? Like, is it that kind of thing, or what is
it's
it? What
more-
is that?
it's-
What does
it's-
that word describe to you?
I feel for me, it's more of like a historical thing than it is like, because there's lots of things that sort of escape your sort of common sort of chord scale theory stuff. It becomes so much more about how something moves. Like, obviously this is not like the craziest thing that you could play, but getting from a 1 chord to a 4 chord, you might hear that kind of movement, and you could call this like 7 sharp 9, like on the 1 chord, but really it's going, and then the harmony going. And it's more about that triadic movement. When you put it all together, it's got this kind of like sort of spiciness to it. But it's actually quite simple kind of harmony in terms of like how something's moving triadically. But then it just gets like extended and lots of
Jacob
stuff
Collier it.
gets added to it. But I think at the core of it is actually just like 1 flat 3 4.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah,
So
a
it's
lot
all
of the-
smoke on the water.
It's all just smoke on the water, actually. Crazy.
Yeah.
You guys never knew this, but Smoke on the Water was
no.
originally a gospel song.
Yeah, that's like keyboard. I used to work with a keyboard player. It's a brilliant gospel player. He's passed away. God rest his soul. But I would always try to figure out those passing chords, just like what you had just done, where you're trying to like figure out. And he would never tell me the chord. It would just be an altered, type of thing. But he'd always just say, "Look, man, it's a stuff chord. Just play stuff underneath the note, and you'll get it." And he was basically just telling me, just listen to the harmonic structure, and you'll find the shapes.
Yeah.
And then you'll be okay.
And so much going on internally in moves like that are really hard to qualify theoretically, because you'd be there forever trying to go, it's a this, alt that, alt this, alt that. But really it's just like I'm going from one place, one triadic sort of like tonal center to another one, and I'm trying to find interesting ways for the inner voices to move from one to another.
Yeah.
And you can't always justify it. And there's like, there's time I've listened to things and I've transcribed them and just be like, this is actually like, as from what I know, this would be incorrect, except for it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna accept it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because even going from like here to here, it's like if I want to hear, then I'll sit and screw around,
Yeah.
until I find something, that gives me the movement I want. But it's not necessarily. I mean, that chord's fine. I guess that's like a dominant 7 sharp 5. But I'm not looking at it that way. I just found a a shape. Yeah, and if you do this, it needs to go here.
Yeah.
And then maybe it goes down, or maybe you end up with a 5 in the bass at some point. But it's always just me like chasing that upper tonality or the bass tonality, and then just trying to stuff something in.
I love that. It's a stuff chord.
Yeah, it's just a stuff chord, man.
Like,
yeah, it's like, what is that, man? That's a stuff chord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. Why?
Bro,
Who? I don't know.
let's play some stuff underneath the bass note.
I love that.
But yeah, it was his way of just saying, it's an altered chord, It's like you'll figure it out,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Dan Blum says harmonizing the groove.
Doing our best.
Are video bonus questions okay? Poo Ninja. I don't know. This sounds like a dangerous path to go down with Poo Ninja.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. Maybe you get one try.
I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're
man.
okay.
What'd you do there?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Poo Ninja, here we go. Timmy Ray Hawkins knows what's going on.
Poo Ninja.
The
The Poo Ninja's awesome, man.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. He's on
Yes.
literally every YouTube video I have ever seen about
Really?
a piece of gear. The Poo Ninja is commenting about it, and it is always something hilarious.
Wild.
Yeah. And normally,
I feel
like,
honored, actually.
like not just hilarious, but like very relevant and
What is
hilarious.
this? It's what?
SFW? I don't know what SFW means.
Safe for work? The opposite of not safe for work?
Oh.
Okay. Poo Ninja, I feel like we...
There's no way that the engineers here aren't going to just be completely looped within the next like 15 or 20 minutes.
Good thing is we've got
Yeah.
cots set up in the back.
Exactly.
That
Uh-oh.
can't be good.
There goes the live stream.
Yeah.
That's him saying we're a little long on the tooth here, boys.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, Poo Ninja, lay it on us.
Yeah. Actually, any of you guys, let us know what questions you have, because we are probably getting a little long in the tooth here.
Daddy's getting tired.
Dudes, I trip on that exact thing. Oh, that's not Poo Ninja, but okay,
Yeah.
whatever. How all these folks spend so much time on the socials.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean,
I
some
don't
peop-
judge.
No, some people don't watch TV, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's their thing. Like,
I'm addicted to my phone. For sure I am.
And how
pretty
come
sure
you
that's
always
all
take
of
so
us.
long to reply to me?
Yeah.
I'm on my OnlyFan.
But I'm your only fan. I'm the subscriber.
Well, I thought it was my mom.
Go.
Man, it's like,
You would
Mom,
do the-
why is your name Poo Ninja?
You would do those things for your mom? Never mind.
Oh, yeah, wow. Oh, boy.
Jimmy Ray asked, where do you see yourself in a few years?
Wow,
And
hopefully.
this question is obviously directed at me. I see myself being right where I am right now.
I see myself on Lipitor.
Oh, yeah. That's not in a few years. We can shorten that down to a few months. And pretty much after my Nashville trip next month, probably bank on being on
Some sort of.
cholesterol meds.
Yeah.
Poo Ninja says, I believe it's pronounced Yo Mama.
That's great.
Yeah, where do you guys see yourself in a few years?
Oh, boy.
I'm not even joking. I see myself in the exact same place that I am now. It's
You know what?
probably not smart.
If I could be in the exact same place I am now, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe with less tours getting canceled, that'd be
I was gonna
okay.
say, maybe we could have a few more amps behind us.
That'd be good.
Yeah, good.
But I'm very happy.
Yeah.
You know,
I have no complaints.
I could sell 1 or 2 more CDs. You know, but if I didn't, I'd be okay.
I think you'll sell more than 1 or 2 more CDs.
At least 1.
What's a CD?
Shut up, child.
I may be able to 500. I may be up to 500 subscribers by then, Poo Ninja.
Okay, I'm gonna answer one other question there. Terry asked about, is there going to be a Generator 740 Mark III? I've answered this a couple of times on here. I'll happily answer it every time it gets answered. Or no.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Words are hard.
Yeah. There is a replacement coming. that will replace the Generator 740, but it will not be exactly like the 740. It's going to be a little bit different, but it will be a replacement.
So everybody who has a 740, yours will magically turn into this new amp when it's released.
I can promise you that everybody who has a 740, much like when you talked to me about your 740 because you have the Mark 1, and when we came out with the Mark 2, you're like, yeah, should I trade this to you and get that? I'm like, no, because it's different. We should just get you one of the new ones as well, because the new thing is going to be different, and the thing that the 740 Mark II does is phenomenal. Like, it's still either the blue channel cranked or the green channel is still my favorite tone out of anything that Dan has designed. And I can't guarantee that the new amp is going to do exactly that. So I would, yeah. I can guarantee you the new amp is, like, whatever the replacement is going to be cool. Like, the Dan doesn't do anything that's not cool.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that.
So what he's saying is you need both.
I'm saying if you are fortunate enough to own multiple amps, I wouldn't get rid of what you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poo Ninja wants a 312 wet, dry, wet combo. Do you know how much that would weigh? 3 amps in one.
Can you scroll back up?
He's been on that kick. He's been on that kick for a minute, man.
That's awesome.
Can I ask a question as to how Sean sets up his Generator 120 for rock, not metal tone? He always gets such great tone.
Oh, that's very kind of you. It's same concept as anything. I tend to just kind of stray away from. Whoa.
Not that. That would be a good example of how
Yeah,
to do it.
I didn't set up this channel at all. If you watch the Rev channel, I've actually done.
Yeah, if you watch the Rev Time channel.
I do a lot of
or
stuff
the
about
Rev Time
I
videos.
do a lot of stuff about
Rev
this.
Time Stories?
Yes.
Sean's segment, or what do we call it? Series. Sean's series on our channel is called Rev Time. And he demonstrates absolutely everything you could possibly imagine that our amps could do.
Wow. I wish I lived in a world where I could use that sound. It is so good.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty gritty, but like that, even that's a little too much gain for me.
That's
I mean-
mine. I like it hot, Sean.
Are you hitting on him?
No, that's my amp.
Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, something. Yeah, something along those lines, but I just don't. The main thing, at least for me, is I tend to use less gain, even though these amps are, quite capable of a ton of gain. I'm not sure which cab is on this amp.
Probably the 4x12.
The 4x12, yeah.
Are you on number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4x12.
And I use the cut switch, which I think people misunderstand the cut switch. When they think cut, they think, well, it's cutting mids. But what it's actually doing is it's making the tone actually cut through. It's actually bringing out mids. So without the cut switch, then with it, thanks, Travis. There's a little more bark there. Back off. A little, like that sounds good, but it wouldn't fit in a track. But with that, you're going to cut some lows. It's going to bring out some more just mid presence. So it'll still sound great for solos. But chords, even big chords. No, sorry. But even for big chords, it'll still sound, big and pretty open without getting too kind of cluttered with, too much harmonic information, I guess, or harmonic distorted information. But yeah, that's kind of my thing, and I do that on both channels. That's channel 3, which is a little bit tighter. But yeah, that's kind of the the basics of it.
Same guy wanted to see about the green channel, which is what you had, right?
Yeah, the green channel, I don't really dial it for crunch. I dial it for because that's kind of my world. when I sit and play guitar.
You've got the gain only at like what, 11?
Yeah. So it's low gain, but if I dig into it, whoop, it'll bark, but on like a neck position tone. It speaks. It's real expressive. It's fairly squishy, which I really appreciate, at least for that type of tone. Sometimes on clean tones, I actually want it to be a little bit more immediate. But yeah, that's how I dial the green channel. But that's why I'm such a fan of the green channel, 740 green channel.
Yep.
This green channel is because it, I can go from the, all the sissy stuff I play, but if I want to like bark something, back humbucker, I don't have to touch anything, and I'm pretty much there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jeremy says, it's ridiculous how good these amps sound over a YouTube stream.
I have no idea. 'cause I'm
It's
not
all in the
listening to
cables,
stream.
actually, on the pedalboard.
It is.
Yeah.
We
It's
spent
all about the George L's.
yeah,
Yeah.
we spent about $8,000 on cables.
Yes. Pretty sure that's.
Man, I was at Quest Musique one day when they got, what were those?
Evidence?
It might have been Evidence, but is that did Area would have distributed them? Maybe.
No.
It was something exactly like
Analysis
that. Though.
Plus?
Like, yeah, maybe them.
Yeah.
Clots.
There's
No, I
Clots,
think Analysis
Analysis
Plus.
Plus.
Analysis
Yeah.
Plus.
Where it was like a 20-foot cable, and it was like $200 and some dollars.
Man, I bought
And-
one of those back in the day.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I had a $150 speaker cable. It was this long.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what happened?
You lost it.
I got drunk and left it
Left
at the
it at
bar.
the gate.
And
Yeah.
somebody was like, this cable's too short. What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I did that.
Somebody sold it for copper.
I got 27 bucks for this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember this dude was there, and like Bruce Jacobs was showing the difference between like a regular patch and this, and he's like, isn't it amazing you can hear it? I'm like, yeah, I can. Somebody's gonna steal all those cables from me
Yeah.
at the NAMM show or somewhere else. Like, somebody's gonna just be like, hey, that looks good. I had one, I had one just like
Hey,
that.
look, it fits in my backpack.
But yeah,
Yeah, cables. That's a weird thing. I mean, I definitely went through my cable kick, and I'm not saying it's something you shouldn't do, but cables to me now are kind of like studio monitors. You can have a plain old set of Yamaha NS10s, and if you're used to them, then you're going to dial and play, and you're going to sound great. And if you're used to another type of cable, whether it's oxygen free, low capacitance, whatever it is, the materials that are in a catalytic converter, whatever.
Flux capacitor.
Yeah. I mean, and I
Watch your mouth.
I guess what I'm saying is you can legitimately hear a massive difference between all of those cables. But what I've found is I tend to try to just settle on something that's along the lines of like a Mogami 2524, that type of thing. And because otherwise my world gets messed up if I switch to another cable. It's like, well, why is this brighter? Or,
Yeah, now you have to dial the amp.
Now I gotta change everything to get the sound that I had in my head back.
I don't have that problem.
Because I'm just
I
like,
just-
do the chicks in the front row, can they hear it?
Yeah, I'm like,
And they can't because
No,
they're
but they can
they're
see it
at
'cause
home.
It's a
I was gonna say,
gold-plated cable, man.
Screaming too loud.
because it's my wife and kids, and my wife is like, stop. Like, you're done.
Yeah, they're screaming in the front row. Please stop.
Stop.
It hurts my ears.
And thus the amps with the two notes was born because my wife was like, stop. I don't want to hear any more.
All the,
Is there a way I
all the
cannot
chicks at
hear
my
this?
shows, they're there, and then they go to their boyfriends. They're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a drink with Sally. You guys can stay as long as you want." That's,
Works every time.
yeah.
Hendrix played their freaking coil cable, man.
Yep. Didn't stop Jimmy.
Nope.
No,
That's true. No.
You need to go back up, and we need to. Jeremy Bortat's comment is awesome. I've been Yorkville cables this whole time. No wonder my guitar sounds like a dial-up modem having sex with a cat in heat.
What?
Well, I kind of feel like that's a little redundant because that's the only time that cats have sex, Jeremy.
Yeah, come on now.
Eat.
If you
I'm trying
you
to
should
like.
know that.
A child knows this.
Oh man, and Kent, thank you so much. Kent was saying that in fact your videos are the reason that he bought a Generator 120. So awesome,
right on.
thank you, Kent.
Awesome, thanks, Kent. Congrats, man. That's a nice amp.
Yeah, for all of you guys that watch this who don't watch the Rev Time videos, you should go watch all of Sean's videos because they're ridiculous, every one of them.
Oh, thanks, man.
I will not go because I don't want to feel bad about myself.
It's okay.
Just kidding, I will.
Jeremy says, I hate you, Jimmy Landreth. He almost got it right.
Yeah.
Jory Lambert is the
Dory
name.
Lambert is correct. His stage name.
My favorite thing that anybody's ever asked me is, "Oh, Brothers Landreth, where'd you come up with that band name?" Like, oh, cool. Random name generator. It's what's crazy is it's my last name. We never believe
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, I think we're getting long and it's starting to get dumb, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
it.
going down.
It's really starting to get good, boys.
Yeah. It's about to head off the rails. So
Oh, it was off the
Kyle
rails
says we're
about
at
15
100
minutes
at
ago.
over 100 Rev Time videos now. That's
Yeah, we've done quite a few.
Well done, Sean and Kyle
Yeah, man.
and Dorian and whoever else that I'm not mentioning, and Sam. And I don't know if Sam has anything to do with that actually, except for pushing it out on social media. Well done, everybody but me, because I have nothing to do with them. So yeah,
And me.
yeah, and Trev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and me.
Yeah. Well, you're the inspiration for
Oh, come on.
the fact that we have Rev Time. That's why we started it, because we were like, one day we'll get enough videos that maybe Joey will watch one of them.
I've watched them all.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Poo Ninja.
He's like, you know what? There's 107. You said over 100, but I can tell you right now, no. Yeah. Anybody have any last questions before we go? Because
I don't think you can ask that because then we'll just be.
No. All right. No more
Anybody have any
questions.
more questions?
All right,
How about
well,
some more Sorry.
How about either one of you or the both of you, whichever you want to do?
Joey's
Play
got
some-
it, man. Look, my guitar's sitting down on my lap. I don't want to pick it up. So Joey's
Too hard.
I'm out of ideas, Sean.
I played everything I know.
I played everything that I can.
Joe's in
Does
Joe
everybody want to hear Joey play as fast as he can with the fuzz face?
Oh, there you go.
Do you want the Frankenstrat?
No, that's even worse.
You'll cut your hand on it.
Oh man, I don't want to do that.
Don't let Derek pressure you into
Don't
that.
bully me.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to do it. You can play something that we all want to listen to.
I've already played all the ideas that I have.
Can you make us cry?
Yeah. Sean, come on, let's play something.
Yeah, just sing
Let's
something.
play something. No.
Well, I'll
Don't
try and
play
play.
acoustic.
I just,
Acoustics in here.
I just don't know all those chords that you know. So
Ceiling is
Perfect.
too low.
that's perfect.
Do you just want to play a 12 bar or something?
Sure.
Okay. What key?
It doesn't matter because I won't know how to do it. So
Okay, great. E?
sender, yeah, sender E.
in there.
That's all right.
It was those 13 bar.
Hey, you want to play a 13 bar?
Let's do a 13 bar, please.
5, 6, 7, 8.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so
fun,
much for joining us and for doing this.
Yeah,
It was
appreciate
such
it,
a
guys.
being done with us. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you next time.
See you next time.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Same bat time, same bat
Joey
channel.
said he's going to be here every week now.
Sweet.
You guys got to come to my house next time, though. It's too far away.
Yeah, we'll pick all this up and move it to your house.
Great. This is WD.
Yeah, Anna's going to love that.
Oh, I bet. Like Stove's getting drunk while he's...
He's fine. Leave him. Just let him sleep it off.
Sam Marker.
Exactly. It's good. It's all fine.
Mr. Steeladan.
Oh, that's
All
fun.
right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.